I'm Cynthia. We're here at 118 degrees. We're a living foods restaurant in Costa Mesa. And I'm a living foods chef. I've been specializing in gourmet living foods for a little bit over 10 years now. And the whole concept of 118 degrees is that most of our food really starts to break down at that temperature. So we lose enzymes and we lose nutritional value when we heat foods above 118 degrees. So everything here in our restaurant is cooked using a dehydrator, and all we do is remove moisture from the foods, but we leave behind the enzymes, we leave behind the nutritional value, and everything's prepared at 118 degrees or lower.
Now, were you always a vegetarian or vegan? How did you get into this? Like, where did you start?
You know, that's a good question because I was raised eating, let's see, cheese puffs and veg all from a can. I never even had a mango until I got into raw foods. And a lot of that was because my parents both worked, and so we were definitely in the fast food, category, trying to get meals in between everything else. And so as a result, I developed a lot of health issues at a really early age. In my late teens, early 20s, I was sick, I was tired, I wasn't feeling great, and it made it really hard to function. And I just came to a point where I was like, this is not how my life is supposed to be. I just know that truth inside of me. But I also didn't know what it was supposed to be, so I just opened my mind and I just said, okay, I'm gonna just start looking for health in more natural places. So I started changing my diet little by little. I let go first of fried foods, and then I was traveling in the Midwest and I couldn't get any healthy preparations of chicken or fish or anything, so I thought, okay, well, I'll just have vegetables while I'm here. And I felt so much better. And so I came back from that trip kind of as a closet vegetarian. And so I kept going and I felt better and I felt better. And it was shortly after that that I was introduced to raw food. And I thought about it and I was like, okay, living body needs living energy, needs the enzymes, needs the nutritional value. Well, that makes a lot of sense to me. And part of my issues that I was facing were digestive issues. So I thought, well, that might really help my digestion. So I thought, okay, I'll try it, and I did. And in a week, I felt amazing. After 2 weeks, I was like shouting from the rooftops, don't you know, you have to go raw, And I scared everybody I know, including my family, and it was a really fun time for me, but it was a really hard time socially. And that's where I really became passionate about sharing it with people.
Now, another question I had, I know you have children.
Yes.
And is there, I think people get the idea where there's like a certain age where you choose this diet. Mm-hmm. Now, are you able to have this kind of diet for children?
Yeah, there's not too much information out for mothers who are wanting to feed their kids this high quality food. So we're working on that. We're working on resources for mothers because both of my children, I've raised them from a very early age with raw food. This is what we do. And it's incredible now to see my son, who's almost 4. We went to a restaurant the other day and I ordered him a plate of spinach, and the lady looked at me like, spinach. And I was like, thank you. And she left and he gobbled down the plate of spinach, and she came back and she was like in amazement.
Right.
But that's what he knows.
Is he ever curious about the other foods? Like when you're out and he sees something else and he wants to know what it is?
With kids food, it's so funny. It's the marketing in it, right? Goldfish crackers, exactly. They're bright orange, they look like fish. Oh my gosh, your kid, you want that, right? But he likes them to play with, not to eat. He does not see it as food, and it's really funny because it just wouldn't occur to him to eat it.
So what is the difference between vegetarian, vegan, and raw?
Well, there really isn't a difference, quote unquote, between vegetarian, vegan, and raw. And I think that's a good question because raw food is food that's prepared with the temperature in mind. And most oftentimes raw food, the whole concept behind it is to have a really pure dish at the end so that your body is getting nourished, to the highest level. So that can happen with vegetarian and vegan and raw. So you can be raw, vegetarian, and vegan all in the same sentence. But one thing you can't be is, you can't go the other direction, right? So as soon as you heat something above 118 degrees, that puts it either as just vegetarian or just vegan.
And then your food's all over the map. It's like, I think people assume that it's like just lettuce and leaves and nuts. But you make tamales, you make enchiladas, you make desserts, and I don't think people know that you could get those type of flavors from raw foods.
Right. I think a lot of people hear raw food, and it's one of the reasons we don't use it in our marketing. They think carrot sticks and celery, they think sushi, whatever their context of raw was before now really fits, that's the first thing that comes up. So what we try to do is we use the term living because it really is about the living energy of the food, and then we really try to position it with flavors that you already understand. You know?
Now, how do you come up with a lot of your recipes? Like ceviche, I would never think that I could get ceviche from a raw foods restaurant.
Yeah.
Now, does it still have those elements of the flavor?
Yeah, so our ceviche is really unique because we actually use the flesh of the young Thai coconut. So instead of fish, it's the coconut flesh, but what we do is we prepare it the same way traditional ceviche is prepared, with the lemon juice, and we use mangoes in ours and avocado, fresh cilantro, and green onions. And it's so much fun because when you put it all together like that, most people don't even know the difference, really. I mean, obviously we're in a living foods restaurant, so we set up the context, but it's got the texture and it has the flavor, and so for a lot of people, when they get that, that's really what we're looking for. You know, we're emotional eaters and we have all these food memories that we're working with. So when you get something that's similar to that, you think, oh, I could do this. You know, and it's not just salads and it's not just carrot sticks and celery. So our mole enchiladas, our pizzas, all of that stuff, we use the dehydrator, and we make our own wraps. We make our own sauces here every day from scratch. We get our produce in every day, sometimes multiple times a day, to keep the food really fresh. And we really draw off those fresh flavors of the produce. And in a lot of other styles of cooking, you don't really get to have that intrinsic flavor. So we're really helping people learn, you know, this is what a tomato really tastes like, you know. Our whole goal is to help people integrate living foods as a foundational food in their diet. So no matter what you eat, whether you're vegetarian, you're vegan, you're an omnivore, you know, everyone, there's so many classifications now. But at the end of the day, it's the functional food in your diet that keeps you going. I really hope that people will reach out if they're interested in learning more about this, because it is such a healing way of eating. And over the last 6 years, we've done testimonials of people, you know, people have lost weight, they've, you know, cured themselves of quote unquote incurable things. And it's really incredible to know what the human body can do when it's given the ability to.